Mina was a small girl with a quiet, thoughtful nature. She had dark, shining eyes and a gentle smile that rarely left her face. Today was her first day at a new karate class, and she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The dojo was large, with polished wooden floors that reflected the bright lights above. Posters of karate champions and motivational sayings lined the walls. Students of all ages were already practicing, some stretching, some practicing punches and kicks, while others whispered and laughed together. Mina held her crisp white belt tightly in her hands. She was small compared to most of the other students, and she could hear some of them whispering and giggling. "Look at her. She's so tiny," one said. Another added, "She probably won't even last 5 minutes in sparring." Mina's cheeks turned slightly pink, but she held her head high and stepped forward. She reminded herself of all the training she had done with her previous teachers. Despite her size, she had earned her black belt and had even won several local competitions. The older students had no idea who she really was. Mr. Tanaka, the sensei, stood at the front of the room. He was a tall, calm man with a warm expression and sharp eyes that could notice even the smallest mistake. "Welcome, everyone," he said. "Today we will practice basic stances, kicks, and blocks. Remember, karate is not only about strength. It is about focus, discipline, and respect." His voice was gentle but firm, and the students immediately quieted down. Mina lined up with the other students. She noticed some of them rolling their eyes and smirking at her. A few of the older black belts whispered to each other. "She looks so small. I don't think she can do much," one said. Mina ignored them and focused on her stance. Her feet were steady, her posture straight, and her breathing calm. She felt the familiar energy inside her body, the result of years of training and discipline. The class began with warm-up exercises. Students ran across the floor, stretched their muscles, and practiced kicks in the air. Mina followed every movement carefully, keeping her balance and moving smoothly. The older students sometimes tried to show off, performing high jumps and spinning kicks. They laughed at each other's mistakes and occasionally glanced at Mina, as if waiting for her to fail. When the practice moved to partner drills, Mina was paired with a boy named Riku. He was bigger than her and already held a brown belt. Riku looked down at her and smiled confidently. "Ready?" he asked, clearly thinking this would be easy. Mina nodded politely and stepped into her stance. The drill began slowly. Mina focused on her breathing, her feet firmly on the floor, her hands ready. Riku tried to test her by striking lightly, but Mina blocked every move with perfect timing. She moved gracefully, each action controlled and precise. Riku's confidence began to fade. He had expected her to stumble or fall, but she was steady and focused. Some of the older students noticed and whispered among themselves. "She's small, but her movements, they are too precise," one said. Another frowned. "I didn't think a girl like her could be this good." Mina did not look around. She concentrated on her own practice, knowing that real skill did not need applause or recognition. After the drill, Mr. Tanaka walked around, correcting postures and praising good techniques. When he reached Mina, he smiled. "You have excellent control, Mina. Very impressive for your age." The other students looked surprised. They had been judging her by her size and appearance, but here was proof that she was far more capable than they had imagined. Despite her success in the drill, Mina did not boast. She bowed politely and continued practicing quietly. She knew the real test would come during sparring, when she would face students who had underestimated her. The thought made her heart beat faster, but it was a good kind of excitement. She felt ready to show that karate was not about size or strength alone, but about focus, courage, and skill. By the end of the first class, Mina had already caught the attention of several students. They no longer whispered or laughed at her openly, though a few still looked doubtful. Mina smiled to herself, feeling confident. She knew that in the days to come she would have to prove herself further, but she was ready. Today had been the first step, and she had taken it with determination and grace. As she left the dojo, Mina adjusted her belt and waved politely to Mr. Tanaka. She felt proud, not because she had won anyone's approval, but because she had remained calm, focused, and true to herself. Little did the other students know. The little girl they laughed at was a true champion, a black belt who had worked hard to earn her skills and respect. The real journey had just begun, and Mina was ready for whatever challenges came her way. The next day, Mina returned to the dojo with a sense of quiet determination. She tied her hair neatly, adjusted her uniform, and stepped onto the polished wooden floor. The older students were already there, stretching and chatting with each other. Some of them noticed Mina and exchanged smirks. "She's back," one whispered. "I wonder if she can keep up today." Another laughed softly. "Maybe she'll trip again." Mina heard them, but she did not respond. She focused on her breathing and reminded herself of the lessons her teachers had always given her. Strength was not only in muscles. True strength came from calmness, precision, and believing in oneself. She took her place at the front of the class, ready for whatever the day would bring. Mr. Tanaka began the class by reviewing basic stances and blocks. Mina followed carefully, her movements smooth and exact. She noticed the other students performing the exercises with a lot of energy, but sometimes rushing or making small mistakes. She stayed focused, correcting her own form quietly. When it was time for sparring practice, the older students were excited. They had already decided to test Mina. "I want to spar with her," Riku said loudly, pointing at Mina. Some of the other black belts laughed. "She's tiny. It will be easy," one said. Mina simply nodded politely and stepped into her stance. The first few moments of sparring were slow. Riku made the first move, thinking he could easily push her back. Mina blocked his strikes with precise timing. Her feet stayed firmly on the ground and her hands moved smoothly. Riku was surprised. He expected her to stumble or hesitate, but she remained steady. Some of the older students started watching more closely. "She's faster than I thought," one whispered. Another frowned, confused. "How can she be so strong and calm at the same time?" Mina continued sparring quietly. She did not boast or shout. Every move she made was controlled, practiced, and exact. Riku tried harder, attempting spinning kicks and fast punches. Mina stepped aside easily, using his energy against him, and countered with simple but effective techniques. Her movements were small but powerful. She never aimed to hurt him, but she demonstrated perfect control and skill. Riku's smirk faded as he realized he could not overpower her. Mr. Tanaka walked around observing the students. He paused by Mina and smiled. "Good work, Mina, you are calm and precise. That is very important in karate." Mina bowed respectfully, feeling proud but keeping her focus. She knew the other students were starting to notice, and she wanted to continue proving herself through skill, not words. By the end of the first round, several students whispered to each other. "She blocked almost everything Riku tried," one said. "I thought she was small and weak, but she is not." Another added, "She moves like she has years of experience. Maybe she is a black belt already." Mina overheard the whispers but did not react. She knew the moment would come when everyone would truly understand her skill. Next, it was time for free sparring, where students could choose their partners. Some of the older black belts still wanted to show off and decided to challenge Mina one by one. Each time Mina faced them calmly. Some tried to push her with strength. Others tried quick punches and kicks. Mina blocked, dodged, and countered all of them with ease. Her movements were clean and she never lost her balance. The laughter that greeted her on the first day was gone. Now the students watched her with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. Even the ones who had teased her looked uncertain. Mina could feel their respect growing, even though they had not yet said a word. She did not need their approval. What mattered was that she remained focused and true to herself. At the end of class, Mr. Tanaka gathered all the students together. "You all worked hard today," he said. "But remember, respect is as important as strength. Never judge someone by their size or appearance. Skill comes from practice and determination." His eyes rested on Mina for a moment. "Mina, you have shown great control and courage. Keep practicing with the same focus." Mina bowed deeply, feeling a warm sense of pride. She knew the other students were beginning to see her in a new light. They no longer laughed at her or dismissed her as weak. She had proven through her actions that true strength was not measured by size or age, but by discipline, skill, and confidence. As the students left the dojo, Mina stayed behind for a few minutes, practicing quietly. She focused on perfecting her kicks and punches, knowing that the challenges ahead would be greater. She felt excited about the journey, not afraid. The little girl the older students had laughed at was no longer invisible. She had begun to show the strength that came from years of dedication, and soon they would all see that she was a true champion. A week had passed since Mina's first day at the dojo, and word had quietly spread about her skills. The older students who had laughed at her were now curious and cautious. Some still doubted her, but most had begun to watch her closely during practice. Mina noticed their glances but paid no attention. She focused on her own training, determined to continue improving. Today, Mr. Tanaka introduced a new exercise. "We will practice combinations of kicks and punches today," he announced. "This will test your speed, balance, and focus. Remember, each movement must be precise." The students lined up and began practicing, repeating the sequences over and over. Mina followed carefully, her movements smooth and accurate. Her feet stayed grounded, her punches quick, and her kicks precise. A group of black belts, slightly older than Mina, gathered at the side of the room. They whispered to each other. "She looks small, but she moves fast," one said. Another added, "Her punches are too precise. How is she so controlled?" Mina overheard a little but did not let it distract her. She knew that showing off would not earn respect. Only consistent skill would. After the combination exercises, it was time for sparring. This time, Mr. Tanaka paired students according to experience. Mina was paired with Naomi, a brown belt who was taller and stronger than her. Naomi smiled confidently. "I hope you are ready," she said, expecting this to be an easy match. Mina bowed politely and assumed her stance. The sparring began. Naomi tried to use her strength to push Mina back, but Mina moved gracefully, sidestepping and blocking every attempt. She countered with soft but accurate strikes, showing control rather than aggression. Naomi blinked in surprise. She had expected Mina to struggle, but the little girl's timing and technique were perfect. Some of the students who were watching began whispering. "Did you see that?" "She blocked everything Naomi tried," one said. "She is incredible for her size," another added. Even the ones who had teased her before felt a growing sense of respect. Mina continued to spar calmly, her eyes focused and her movements precise. She was not trying to hurt anyone, only to demonstrate skill. Mr. Tanaka walked around, observing closely. "Good work, Mina," he said softly. "You maintain control and focus even under pressure. That is the mark of a true karateka." Mina bowed respectfully, feeling a quiet satisfaction. She knew that her actions were speaking louder than words. After the sparring, Mr. Tanaka asked the students to practice a new technique, a spinning kick that required both balance and timing. Many of the older students struggled at first, stumbling or losing their footing. Mina, however, practiced quietly and steadily. She focused on her core, kept her balance, and executed the kick with precision. Her movement was fluid, almost effortless, and she landed perfectly each time. The other students stopped to watch her. "Wow, she makes it look so easy," one whispered. "I can't do it that smoothly," another admitted. Mina did not look at them. She knew the true challenge was to continue improving, not to impress others. Still, she could feel a sense of pride quietly building inside her. After class, the older students approached her cautiously. Riku, who had been teasing her before, stepped forward. "Mina, I have to say, you are really good," he said honestly. Mina smiled politely. "Thank you," she replied softly. Her humility surprised him. He had expected arrogance from someone so skilled, but Mina's quiet confidence left a strong impression. Even Naomi, the brown belt, nodded. "I didn't expect that from someone your size," she admitted. Mina simply bowed. She had no need to boast. Her skill and discipline spoke for themselves, and she knew that with time, everyone in the dojo would recognize her dedication. As Mina left the dojo that day, she felt a warm sense of satisfaction. She had not only practiced her skills, but had also started to change the way the other students saw her. The little girl they had laughed at was no longer just a quiet newcomer. She was becoming a respected karateka, someone whose talent and focus could not be ignored. Mina knew her journey was only beginning. There would be more challenges, tougher students, and more difficult techniques to master. But she felt ready. Her training, her discipline, and her calm determination had already set her apart. The path ahead was long, but Mina was confident that she would continue to grow stronger, proving that true skill came from dedication, not size. Mina arrived at the dojo early that morning, as she always did. The sunlight streamed through the windows, lighting up the polished wooden floor. A few students were already warming up, stretching their arms and legs carefully. Some of the older students who had doubted Mina before were watching her quietly from the side. They had begun to notice her dedication and skill, and curiosity was replacing their teasing. Mr. Tanaka greeted the class with a calm voice. Today we will focus on advanced techniques and sparring strategies. Remember, control and focus are more important than force. Mina nodded and followed him to the center of the dojo. Her eyes scanned the room, seeing the other students preparing. She could feel their glances on her, some curious, some cautious. She smiled softly to herself, not letting it distract her. The warm-up began with stretching and balance exercises. Mina moved gracefully, holding each position steadily. Some of the older students struggled to maintain their balance, while Mina's posture remained perfect. Her control and focus were evident in every movement, and a few of the students began to whisper quietly. "She is amazing," one said. "How can someone so small be so steady?" Another nodded. "She moves like she has years of experience." After warm-ups, Mr. Tanaka introduced partner sparring with new rules. Students had to anticipate each other's moves and respond quickly. Mina was paired with Takumi, a tall and strong brown belt. Takumi looked down at her and smiled confidently. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, expecting an easy match. Mina bowed politely and said, "I will do my best." The sparring began. Takumi struck quickly, aiming to overpower Mina with his size and strength. Mina moved lightly on her feet, sidestepping, blocking, and responding with precise counters. Her movements were fast but controlled, and she never lost her balance. Takumi was taken aback. He had expected an easy match, but Mina was calm, focused, and skilled. Other students began to watch in silence. They had seen Mina handle smaller drills before, but her performance against someone as strong as Takumi was surprising. "She is incredible," one whispered. "I didn't think she could handle him," another said. Mina continued calmly, her eyes focused, using her timing and technique to stay ahead. After a few minutes, Mr. Tanaka called the students to stop and observe a demonstration. He paired Mina with a black belt named Haru, who was older and much stronger. The other students were excited, thinking this would be the moment Mina might struggle. Mina bowed to Haru, who smiled and nodded. "Let's begin," he said. The sparring started slowly, both of them circling each other. Haru attempted powerful strikes, but Mina blocked them with precise timing. She countered with gentle but effective punches and kicks, keeping perfect control. Her movements were smooth and effortless, showing the result of years of training. Haru was surprised. He had expected to dominate, but Mina's skill was undeniable. The students watching were amazed. "Look at her technique," one said quietly. "She is so fast and precise." Another added, "She is small, but she moves like a champion." Even those who had doubted her before were beginning to respect her. Mina did not smile or boast. She continued to focus on her movements, practicing her skills with concentration and grace. Mr. Tanaka finally stepped forward. "Very good, Mina," he said. "Your timing, control, and focus are excellent. You have demonstrated the importance of precision over strength." Mina bowed politely, feeling a quiet pride. She knew that her dedication and discipline were beginning to show. After class, several older students approached Mina. Takumi spoke first. "I have to admit, I underestimated you," he said. Mina smiled gently. "Thank you. I just try to focus and practice every day." Haru nodded in agreement. "You have incredible skill. Keep practicing and you will go far," he said. Mina bowed and thanked them. As Mina walked home, she thought about her journey. She knew the path of a true karate champion was not easy. There would always be challenges and stronger opponents, but she felt ready. Her training, her discipline, and her focus had set her apart. She had shown that true strength came from skill, control, and determination, not size or age. Mina felt a sense of confidence growing inside her. She had started to change the way the students at the dojo saw her. The little girl they had laughed at was now someone they respected. She smiled to herself, knowing that her journey had only begun, and she was ready to face whatever challenges came next with courage and focus. The following week, the dojo was buzzing with energy. Mina arrived early as usual, tying her hair neatly and adjusting her uniform. Today, Mr. Tanaka had announced a special challenge, a mini tournament among all the students. Everyone would have a chance to spar with multiple partners to test their skills, focus, and stamina. Mina felt a flutter of excitement. This was her chance to show not only her technique but also her calmness under pressure. The older students were whispering among themselves. Some were nervous, while others were curious. Mina noticed them looking her way, their expressions a mix of doubt and intrigue. She smiled softly but did not respond to their glances. Her mind was already focused on the practice ahead. Mr. Tanaka called the students together. "This tournament is about skill, respect, and focus," he explained. "Win or lose, pay attention to your movements and your discipline. Respect your partner and yourself." Mina bowed respectfully. She was ready. The first round of sparring began. Mina's first opponent was Riku, the boy who had teased her during her first day. He approached confidently, trying to show off his speed and strength. Mina stayed calm, adopting her stance and focusing on her breathing. As Riku struck, Mina blocked smoothly and countered with precise movements. Each strike and kick was controlled and effective, showing her balance and timing. The other students watched quietly. They remembered Riku teasing Mina, but now they saw her skill firsthand. Riku tried harder, but Mina stayed steady, using her technique rather than force. In a few minutes, she had maneuvered him carefully, demonstrating perfect control. Riku bowed and smiled, realizing that Mina was no ordinary student. Next, Mina faced Naomi, the brown belt who had sparred with her before. Naomi was taller and stronger, but Mina was calm and precise. Naomi struck quickly, trying to test Mina's speed. Mina responded perfectly, sidestepping, blocking, and countering with clean techniques. She did not rush, and every movement had purpose. Naomi's confidence wavered as she realized that Mina was skilled, disciplined, and composed. The students who were watching were now clearly impressed. Whispers spread through the dojo. "She is amazing," one said. "She is not just small. She is incredibly fast and precise." Another nodded. "She moves like a champion." Mina continued to spar quietly, focused entirely on her own technique, paying attention to balance, timing, and control. By the third round, Mina's opponents were older black belts. One of them, Haru, was taller and stronger than anyone she had faced that day. Haru approached with a respectful nod. Mina returned it, ready for the challenge. The sparring began with careful movements. Haru tried powerful kicks and strikes, but Mina anticipated them and responded with calm precision. She blocked and countered, demonstrating perfect timing and balance. The other students stood silently, watching in awe. Even those who had doubted her were now clearly impressed. Mina's focus and skill were unmatched, and she handled each challenge with grace. Her small size no longer mattered. Her discipline and technique were the true measure of her strength. Mr. Tanaka observed from the side, smiling. "Mina demonstrates excellent control, balance, and focus," he said quietly to the students nearby. "This is the result of dedication and respect for the art of karate. Skill does not depend on size. It depends on practice, focus, and determination." When the tournament ended, all the students gathered to bow to each other and to Mr. Tanaka. Mina stood quietly, her uniform slightly damp from practice, her breathing steady. She felt proud, not because she had won every match, but because she had shown focus, discipline, and respect for her partners. Riku approached her with a smile. "I underestimated you before," he said honestly. Mina nodded politely. "Thank you. I just focus on practicing every day." Naomi and Haru also bowed to her, showing respect and admiration. Mina felt a quiet satisfaction, knowing that she had earned the respect of the older students without needing to boast. As she left the dojo that day, Mina thought about how much she had grown since her first day. The students who had laughed at her were now seeing her as a true karateka. She knew that her journey was not over. There would be more challenges, bigger tournaments, and stronger opponents. But she felt ready. Her dedication, skill, and calm determination had shown her own strength and had inspired respect from others. Mina smiled as she walked home. She realized that karate was not just about fighting or winning. It was about discipline, respect, focus, and the courage to face challenges, no matter the obstacles. The little girl the black belts had laughed at was now seen differently, not because she had shouted or shown off, but because her dedication and skill spoke louder than words. The dojo was filled with quiet energy as Mina arrived for practice that afternoon. Today, Mr. Tanaka had announced something new, a special challenge where students would face opponents with different styles. The idea was to test their adaptability, focus, and control. Mina felt a mixture of excitement and determination. She knew this challenge would be harder than the usual drills, but she was ready. As she tied her hair and adjusted her uniform, Mina noticed some of the older students whispering to each other. They had already seen her skill in the mini-tournament, But today they were curious to see how she would handle new opponents. Some looked confident, some nervous, but all of them were paying close attention to her. Mina smiled softly but did not let their stares distract her. She focused on herself, on her balance, her breathing, and her technique. Mr. Tanaka called the students together. "Today you will face opponents who use different styles of karate," he explained. "Some will be strong, some fast, some tricky. Pay attention, stay calm, and use what you have learned. Remember, the mind is as important as the body in karate." Mina bowed respectfully, feeling her heart beat faster with anticipation. The first match for Mina was with Akira, a student known for his speed. Akira darted around quickly, striking from unexpected angles. Many students would have been overwhelmed, but Mina moved calmly. She kept her eyes on his movements, anticipating his attacks. She blocked and countered with precise strikes, using her timing rather than strength. Akira tried to surprise her with fast kicks, but Mina sidestepped and responded with perfect technique. The watching students were amazed. "She is handling him perfectly," one whispered.
"He is so fast, but she doesn't panic," another said.
Mina did not notice the whispers. She was fully focused on her partner, matching speed with calm control. Akira finally nodded, acknowledging her skill. Mina bowed politely, and the match ended with mutual respect. Next, Mina faced Sora, who was taller and stronger than her. Sora tried to use power to dominate, pushing forward with strong strikes and high kicks. Mina remained steady, using balance and precision to evade attacks and respond effectively. She did not try to overpower Sora, but instead used technique and timing to control the sparring. Sora's expression changed from confidence to surprise as he realized Mina was more skilled than she appeared. Some of the students watching began whispering in admiration. "She can handle anyone," one said. "Her movements are so smooth and controlled." Mina continued sparring calmly, each movement showing the result of years of training. Her small size no longer mattered. Her skill and focus were what truly counted. Finally, Mina faced her most challenging opponent of the day, Haru, an older black belt known for his strength and agility. Haru approached with a respectful bow. Mina returned the bow and took her stance, feeling a mix of excitement and concentration. The sparring began slowly, with careful movements from both. Haru tested Mina with strong strikes and fast combinations. Mina blocked and countered with precise timing, moving gracefully and keeping perfect balance. The students around the dojo watched silently, impressed by her performance. They had seen her skill before, but today she was facing opponents with different styles and strengths, and she handled each one flawlessly. Even Haru nodded in respect. "You have excellent control and focus, Mina," he said. Mina smiled politely and bowed. After the challenge, Mr. Tanaka gathered the students. "Mina has demonstrated the true spirit of karate today," he said. She faced opponents of all styles with control, focus, and respect. Skill is not about size or strength alone. It is about discipline, dedication, and the mind. The students looked at Mina with admiration and quiet respect. Mina felt a warm sense of pride. She knew she had worked hard for her skills, but it was rewarding to see others recognize her effort. She also knew that there would always be new challenges ahead, stronger opponents and harder techniques to master, but she felt ready for all of them. As she left the dojo, Mina thought about her journey. The students who had laughed at her on the first day now looked at her differently. They saw her not as a small girl, but as a true karateka. Mina smiled to herself, knowing that her dedication, focus, and calm determination had shown her true strength. Mina understood that the path of karate was never easy. It required constant practice, respect for others, and the courage to face challenges. She felt proud that she had begun to prove herself not by words or boasting, but by her actions and skill. The little girl the black belts had laughed at had grown stronger, and her journey had only just begun. The day of the dojo's big sparring showcase had finally arrived. Students from nearby dojos had come to watch, and even some of the town's karate enthusiasts had gathered to see the young practitioners. Mina arrived early, tying her hair neatly and adjusting her uniform. She could feel the energy in the room, the sound of chatter, the sight of practiced movements, and the anticipation in the air. Some of the older students who had teased her in the past were already warming up. They looked at Mina with a mixture of respect and curiosity. They had seen her skill in practice and in previous challenges, but today was different. Today everyone would witness her ability under pressure, and Mina knew it. She took a deep breath, centering herself, and stepped onto the mat. Mr. Tanaka called the students together. "Today we will demonstrate your skills in controlled sparring," he said. "Remember, karate is about respect, focus, and discipline. Show your best without harming your partner." Mina bowed, her eyes steady. She knew that this was an opportunity not to boast, but to show that dedication and training could overcome assumptions and doubts. Her first match was against Riku, the boy who had once laughed at her on her first day. Riku approached with a confident smile, but Mina noticed the uncertainty in his eyes. He had practiced and grown stronger, but Mina had also learned more techniques and control. They bowed to each other and assumed their stances. The sparring began. Riku struck first, attempting a fast combination of punches and kicks. Mina moved lightly on her feet, sidestepping and blocking, responding with precise counters. Each movement was calm and controlled, and she did not rush. Riku tried to increase his speed, but Mina anticipated his attacks, using his energy against him with smooth and balanced movements. The audience watched silently, captivated by the skill and focus displayed. When the round ended, Riku bowed deeply. "I underestimated you," he said honestly. Mina smiled politely. "Thank you. I just focus on practicing every day," she replied. The audience clapped politely, noticing the skill and respect between the students. Next, Mina faced Naomi, the tall brown belt who had tested her before. Naomi struck quickly, attempting high kicks and fast combinations. Mina responded with calm precision, blocking effectively and countering with measured strikes. Her movements were fluid and her balance was perfect. Naomi realized that Mina was not only skilled but also mentally strong, handling every move with confidence and discipline. The crowd began to murmur in admiration. "She is incredible," one said. "Look at her balance and timing." Another added, "She moves like a true champion." Mina continued quietly, focused entirely on her movements and her partner, demonstrating skill, control, and respect for the art. Finally, Mina faced Haru, the older black belt who was considered one of the strongest students in the dojo. Haru approached with a respectful nod, and Mina returned the gesture. The sparring began cautiously, both moving strategically. Haru tried powerful strikes, fast kicks, and tricky combinations, but Mina anticipated and responded with precise technique. She sidestepped, blocked, and countered efficiently, using both speed and timing to maintain control. The audience was silent, captivated by the skill and composure of the two students. Mina's small size was no longer a factor. Her focus, discipline, and technique were the center of attention. Haru nodded in respect, recognizing her true skill. "Your control and timing are excellent," he said. Mina bowed politely, acknowledging his respect. After the showcase, Mr. Tanaka gathered the students. "Mina has shown the spirit of a true karateka today," he said. "She faced opponents of all strengths and sizes with discipline, focus, and respect. This is the essence of karate. Remember, skill is earned through dedication and practice, not by size or appearance." The students who had laughed at Mina on her first day now looked at her with admiration and respect. They had seen her skill, control, and courage firsthand. Mina smiled quietly to herself. She felt proud not because she had impressed anyone, but because she had proven that dedication, discipline, and focus could overcome assumptions and doubts. As she left the dojo, Mina reflected on her journey. From the first day when she was underestimated to the showcase where she earned respect, she realized how much she had grown. She understood that karate was not only about physical strength, but also about mental focus, perseverance, and respect. Mina felt confident that she could continue to face any challenge with calm determination and skill. The little girl who had been laughed at by the black belts was now seen as a true champion. Her journey was far from over, but she had shown everyone that size and age did not define a person's strength. Skill, focus, and dedication did. Mina smiled, ready for whatever the next challenge would bring, knowing that her training, discipline, and courage would guide her every step of the way. The dojo was brighter than usual that day. The students had been practicing harder than ever, and today was the final demonstration of the month. Visitors from other dojos had arrived, along with parents and community members. Mina walked in quietly, tying her hair and adjusting her uniform. She felt a mix of excitement and focus. Today would be the day everyone would truly see her skill. Some of the older students who had doubted her before were warming up nearby. They looked at Mina with admiration, and some whispered quietly, She has grown so much, one said. Her technique is perfect. Mina noticed their glances but remained calm. She had learned that real strength came from focus and self-control, not from showing off. Mr. Tanaka called the students together. Today, we will have a full demonstration of your skills, including sparring, advanced techniques, and combinations, he explained. Show your best, remain respectful, and remember the spirit of karate. Mina bowed politely, feeling her heart beat steadily. She was ready to demonstrate everything she had learned. Her first sparring match was against Takumi, a strong brown belt who had challenged her before. Takumi approached confidently, but Mina remained calm. The sparring began with careful movements from both. Takumi tried to push her with strong strikes, but Mina blocked each attack perfectly. She countered with smooth, precise movements, maintaining her balance and timing. The audience watched quietly, captivated. Mina's small size was no longer noticed. Only her skill, focus, and confidence mattered. Takumi finally nodded, bowing respectfully. You are incredible, Mina, he said. Mina smiled softly and returned the bow. Next, Mina demonstrated advanced techniques. She performed high kicks, spinning strikes, and precise combinations that she had practiced for months. Each movement was clean, controlled, and powerful. The students around her watched in amazement. She moves like a true champion, one whispered. Another added, her balance and timing are perfect. Mina performed each movement carefully, focusing on control and accuracy, showing that strength came from discipline, not size. Finally, it was time for the main sparring match. Mina faced Haru, the strongest black belt in the dojo. The audience held their breath as the two bowed respectfully. Mina's heart was steady, her mind focused. The sparring began slowly with careful observation from both. Haru tested her with fast, strong strikes, but Mina blocked and countered perfectly. She moved with fluidity, keeping her balance and responding with skillful precision. The crowd watched in awe. Everyone could see that Mina's small size did not limit her. Her movements were calculated and controlled, her focus absolute. Haru tried every technique he knew, but Mina anticipated many of them, responding with speed and accuracy. She was not trying to overpower him, but to demonstrate skill and control. After several minutes, Haru stopped and smiled. You have shown the true spirit of karate, he said. Your skill, focus, and discipline are exceptional. Mina bowed politely, feeling proud but calm. She knew that this recognition was not just about winning, but about showing dedication and respect for the art. Mr. Tanaka stepped forward. Mina has demonstrated the qualities of a true champion today, he announced. Her focus, control, and respect for others have set an example for all students. Karate is not about size or strength alone. It is about dedication, discipline, and the spirit of learning. The students clapped and bowed, and even those who had once laughed at Mina looked at her with admiration. Mina smiled quietly. She felt a sense of satisfaction that went beyond applause. She had earned the respect of her peers through her actions, discipline, and dedication. As the demonstration ended, Mina walked home slowly, reflecting on her journey. From the first day when she had been laughed at, to now when she had earned respect from everyone in the dojo, she realized how much she had grown. She understood that true strength came from focus, courage, and perseverance. Size and age were never barriers when one had determination and discipline. Mina smiled to herself. The little girl who had been underestimated had become a respected karateka. She knew there would be more challenges in the future, more opponents and more techniques to master, but she felt ready for all of them. Her journey was only beginning, and she would continue to grow stronger, not just in skill but in character. The dojo had once been a place of doubt and whispers, but now it was a place of respect, admiration, and inspiration. Mina had proven that dedication and discipline could overcome assumptions and fears. She had shown that a small, quiet girl could be a true champion, and with that realization,